Seduction is a language that does not involve words. It involves what is not spoken. Each woman has their own separate fantasy. The moment she pursues you in any way, it's over. You've seduced her. That's it. Man, you are so stupid. You are such a bad seducer. When you're seducing someone, it's a story that you're bringing them into. You're creating theater. You're creating drama. You're leading them into this world just like an author will lead a reader through a series of steps. A man will seduce a woman by things we've already talked about. Seduction is a sense of I'm letting go a little bit. I'm entering a world where the other person is leading me through an adventure, and that's the excitement. That's the kind of transgressive element. What's a little bit tricky here is you have to think that each woman has their own separate fantasy. Each person that you deal with has their own particular fantasies, right? And you want to be very sensitive to that. So if you come at this with this idea that women have these preset kind of ideals, then you're already in trouble, because you want to, as far as being you-oriented, you want to drop everything and you want to enter their world and look at the signs that they're giving out as to what their fantasies are. If they happen to be reading that kind of fiction and they happen to be reading those kinds of stories, then great, a little red light goes on in your head. But you want to be looking at all the other signs that they're giving out as well, the movies that they watch, the music that they listen to, the clothes that they wear. If a woman seems to be particularly repressed, that's a sign that they're going to be attracted to that danger element, right? So you want to be paying deep attention to the individual. This is a problem that men have in general that they need to address. They're thinking in generic terms. They're thinking that they don't individualize the woman. And the worst thing you can do in seduction is to give the other person the idea that you are coming at them and thinking of somebody else. You're thinking in terms of stereotypes. You're thinking in terms of your previous girlfriends. You're not looking at them as an individual, the kinds of things that they love, the kinds of things that you can provide them that they're missing in life. So the game is the most important game, as opposed to just thinking in terms of these categories, is dropping all of that stuff in your head and just looking at the woman and entering her world and seeing it for what it is. That's half the game of seduction. Because if they feel that you are individualizing your attention, that is absolutely the key to any kind of seduction, because we don't get any kind of individualized attention in this world. We're hungry for it, and particularly women coming from men, because men don't seem to understand the fantasy element. As you say, a fantasy is kind of a story. It's like a drama. It's going, and so when you're seducing someone, it's a story that you're bringing them into. You're creating theater. You're creating drama. You're leading them into this world just like an author will lead a reader through a series of steps, right? But you have to be very focused on them and who they are in particular. And seduction involves a sense of vulnerability, a sense of openness, where you're letting the other person come into you. And the word vulnerable comes from the Latin meaning wound. So vulnerable means the willingness to be wounded. And the archetypal image of love and seduction was Cupid with an arrow and hitting you with an arrow and wounding you with love and creating blood from it. It's like there's pain involved. Because you're opening yourself to another person. You're willing for them to hurt you, and you know that you could be hurt. Seduction is incredibly important. So we are by nature attracted to what we cannot have. Things that we can have or that we don't have excite our desire more than anything else. So a sense of resistance, a sense that we're not supposed to have this person or that they're not supposed to have us, is exactly what entices us into it. So if I want to pick up a woman and I go to a bar, and it's so easy, I don't even have to buy her a drink. She follows me. Oh, yes, of course, Robert, I'll go home with you. Yes, you're so attractive, blah, blah, blah. There's no interest there. There's no excitement. There's no spark. But a bit of resistance, a bit of, I'm not so interested. Oh, I already have a boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Whoa, my interest is going like that. So if there's no element of naughtiness, if there's no element of a slight taboo or transgressive nature, it's not going to get our juices going, our erotic, our fantasy juices and all that other stuff. Fifth chapter or so is Enter Their Spirit. It's all about being incredibly incredibly receptive to who they are as an individual, right? And knowing how to give the right gifts and how to see them for who they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, my book explains to you how a seducer works. A man will seduce a woman by things we've already talked about. The quintessential male seducer is the rake. It doesn't seem like he'd be very attractive because he can only have as many women as he can find in his life, right? He's not willing to settle down. But when a rake is interested in a woman, he's 100% attuned to them. He's in their world. He's listening to them. For the 1 month or 2 months that he's with that woman, she is his whole life, right? And not in a scary sense, but in a very interesting, poetic sense. He knows how to give the right kind of gifts. He knows to take her to the right places. He's very attentive. His energy is focused on her. And he knows how to lead. Leading is not just forcing someone. It's like, I'm leading you into the story that I'm creating. I'm taking you to certain places, even literally to certain places, but I'm leading you down a path, and you're excited by the adventure and the mystery of where this is going. Well, the main thing is that I would say in a kind of macro sense is pay attention to the nonverbals. So seduction is a language that does not involve words. It involves what is not spoken. It involves your body language, your eyes, your smile, your face, how you compose your face, how you walk, how you present yourself, the places you take the woman to reveal who you are. If you take her to a pizza and beer joint, that says something as opposed to an elegant restaurant. How you dress is part of that language. Are you just wearing your shorts and t-shirt, or do you present yourself in a nice? Maybe those shorts and t-shirt for some women would work, but for a lot of women it shows you don't really care. So pay attention to all the nonverbal things, to the little signs that the woman is very, very attentive to, and be able to control that to some degree. And a lot of that centers around the eyes and the face and the mouth and how you smile, etc. And there are weak ways of looking, and there are aggressive ways and confident ways that are directed through the eyes. The flirtation is not in the words that you say, but it's in the looks that you give, in the energy that you radiate, right? In the strength that you show, and the fact that you're looking them in the eye, but not in a scary way, kind of thing. And then mirroring behavior is extremely a sign of the other person is falling under your spell. So you smile in a certain way, and you see if she responds in the same way, right? And you kind of learn how to kind of go with her energy in the moment as well. One thing you have to keep in mind, though, is if the woman seems to be resistant, and then you just wilt at that moment, and you cut it off, and you go, oh, this isn't going to work. Man, you are so stupid. You are such a bad seducer. Women are testing you often. And by their showing you that maybe they're not interested, they might actually be interested. But they want to see, are you willing to pursue them? Are you willing to deal with some obstacles in the way? Are you willing to, move past their resistance, not physically forcing them? But if they don't seem so receptive to you on that first date, that doesn't mean you have to give up. It just means give it a second date and show that you're still interested in them is a very powerful message. It means I can deal with maybe your kind of somewhat pissy side, or your sort of negative side, or your kind of pickiness. I'm still there. I'm still interested. Okay, that shows that you're willing to jump over this one hoop that I've set for you. So just immediately wilting is a bad sign. In there I talk about the Hollywood actor Errol Flynn, who is perhaps numerically the greatest male seducer ever, because it's estimated that he had seduced close to 3,000 women, and he died when he was 50. And if I did the math one day, I go, how can that possibly be? And I tried to research what was his secret, And it was hard to find out. Finally, I found a book written by a woman whom he had seduced, another actress. And she said, he was so relaxed and so comfortable. It was like an animal type thing. And then when I would sit with him, it was almost as if I had drunk 2 martinis just sitting next to him. His comfort and his security and his confidence, his relaxed attitude, it just made me drunk. So feeling relaxed, feeling confident and not defensive and comfortable with yourself is a very powerful seductive quality. I mean, there are many of them, but that's one that I would point out.
If you're pursuing someone so much, it's almost like it's getting too predictable here. And the sense of being constantly chased is tiring. It's also a little bit frightening. Where is this all ending? Right? It's going too much like you're in control of everything. If you take a step back, you're the one pursuing her, and now you step back and you don't call her as much, and you're doing your work and you're not so interested in her, suddenly she's going to have to pursue you because you've got your hooks in her so deeply. And the moment you've created this space, because think of it spatially, you're after her, it's like this, you're after her, and then you pull back. Now there's a space between you two. That space is where she's going to fall. And that's what I mean by it. So you've pulled back, and now she's going to pursue you because she doesn't want to lose it. It's been so interesting and so pleasurable. And she's so used to this dynamic that she's now going to turn around. The moment she pursues you in any way, it's over. You've seduced her. That's it. So it's got to be timed right. We're very near the end of our seduction here, because that literally means to fall, and we're like falling in love. So this is a book about getting people to love you. It's not a book about just having sex. It's all psychological. And literally falling in love is you can't control it, you're falling. So you're giving them space for them to fall, because if you're pursuing them, they're just backing up, but you want them to go like that. This is the end of it, the end game, which could be sex, or whatever it is that you're after, okay? But the problem that a man will have in this situation is he's so worried that he's going to offend the woman, that she's going to think that all he wants is sex. He's trying to be nice, and so he's reluctant to take the last step. But then to the woman, that signals, you've been doing this all along. You don't desire me that much. You're not willing to do something kind of aggressive. This is the moment that the woman wants something aggressive. She doesn't want you to hit her, but she wants you to take the initiative and do something which signals that you are so attracted to her, you are so in love with her, that you're just going to like pounce on her. And that's what ends a seduction. That's what's powerful. That's what moves the other person. But the fact that you're hesitating ruins the whole effect. So at the very last moment, it's your boldness that will consummate it. It's the boldness that in this situation, the woman actually wants. You have to keep seducing a little bit on and on and on. You have to occasionally do surprises. You have to occasionally take them to someplace special. You have to be willing to keep dressing nicely or do something different, to have that slight theatrical, that sort of fantasy element. There still has to be a little bit of mystery involved. If the other person becomes so familiar, then the spark, then the charge between you will dissipate. So there has to be a little bit of mystery, a little bit of space still between you, and some surprise. So naturally, it's going to get lesser the longer you're together, but it can't completely disappear. And a lot of women complain that he just stopped trying, right? Everything suddenly I just became somebody familiar to him, and all the magic was gone, and all the things that he used to do that were full of effort, all of that has just gone like that. And it's a devastating feeling, like I'm not worth it anymore. It's all over. And that kills the relationship.